He ripped the contract in two with just his fingers, wearing a smirk that filled the whole boardroom. $2.8 million wasted, he declared loudly, as if everyone needed to hear. He didn't even glance my way, just a casual flick, as if I were nothing more than a speck. This is amateurish work, he sneered. You clearly aren't ready for the big leagues. I nodded slowly, keeping my composure. You're absolutely right, sir, I said. What they didn't realize was that while he tore that paper, something much bigger was already in motion. And it wasn't just a contract. It was a carefully laid plan. His name is Charles Whitman. To the world, he's a titan of industry. To me, he was my wife's father. The first time we met, he looked me square in the eyes, placed a heavy hand on my shoulder, and said, "You'll never be good enough for her, but at least you're ambitious." I should have walked away then, but instead, I set out to prove him wrong. I doubled down, working longer hours, chasing bigger deals, climbing faster than anyone expected, maybe too fast. But I delivered, bringing in substantial revenue for his company, enough that he eventually allowed me to marry his daughter, Claire. Or perhaps he saw a way to keep me close, under his control. I went from outsider to family. Then I became a threat. He waited for the right moment. When I landed the largest deal of my career, a software integration that would have saved his company tens of millions, he destroyed it right in front of the board, making sure I saw. It was a message loud and clear, but the warning signs had started earlier. About a month before that humiliating boardroom moment, Claire began coming home late, smelling faintly of his cologne, his brand signature scent, oddly enough, not impersonally. At first, I brushed it off as the long hours of her father grooming her for a COO role. Then her texts to me changed. They became cold, distant, mechanical, as if I were just a colleague. Unable to resist, I checked our shared iCloud account and found a message from her. Asterisk, he doesn't suspect a thing. He still thinks he's being promoted. Asterisk. That was a turning point. Not the contract destruction, not the loss of her warmth, but that betrayal whispered to me in silence. Pain isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet voice begging to be heard. I listened. I stopped fighting. I stopped asking questions. I focused on what I could control. First, I backed up every internal file I had access to. Proposals, contracts, emails, notes. I cataloged every project I'd worked on, and also every file I'd been deliberately kept away from. Then I examined Claire's laptop. She never bothered changing her passwords. Her messages to her father revealed everything. They were planning to publicly humiliate me, to cut me out, and to claim credit for my work as her own, a corporate coup disguised as a restructure. Claire wasn't just involved. She was a mastermind. I had a backup plan of my own. For 3 years, I've been quietly developing a logistics AI app that made our company's supply chain system look outdated. I never launched it, not while I was under Whitman's control. But now I packaged it, polished it, and pitched it to Whitman's biggest competitor. Quietly and anonymously, they took the bait. While Whitman was orchestrating my downfall, I was preparing my comeback. The day after he tore up my contract, I walked into his office holding a flash drive and a resignation letter. Without looking up, he asked, "Done licking your wounds?" I placed the letter on his desk. He scanned the first lines and smiled. "No hard feelings, right?" I returned the smile. "Of course not, sir." Then I dropped the flash drive. "This is proof of what you just threw away. $2.8 million. Just to feel powerful." He scoffed. "You don't work here anymore." I leaned in. "True, but your competitors are very interested in what I built. And now that I'm free from your NDA, I can offer it wherever I want." His expression twitched. The faintest sign of nerves. "Bluffing," he said. I didn't respond. I just turned and walked away. 3 days later, the press release hit. Savage acquired the startup led by an ex-Whitman employee. His board was shaken. Shares plunged 18% in 2 days. But the real blow came at the shareholder meeting. I wasn't invited, but I didn't need to be. I had already sent the SEC everything. Forged projections Claire had made. Insider trades her father approved to inflate their numbers before quarterly reports. When the FBI arrived, Claire broke down. Charles stayed quiet. like someone who had heard the truth a moment too late. I remember the look in his eyes more than his words when I visited him before sentencing. He said simply, "You ruined everything." I leaned forward. "No, you did. I just brought the receipts." Charles was sentenced to 9 years. Claire took a plea deal and now teaches coding. Sometimes I sit with a glass of scotch, staring at that torn contract taped back together, piece by piece. What once felt like a crushing defeat is now a trophy, a reminder of the day he thought he destroyed me. But instead, that was the day I took everything,